good, YouTube? It's your boy, Only One KDB, and I'm back with another video. In today's video, we got 10 WWE wrestlers who refused to win at Wrestlemania. Shout out to Wrestlemania. If you're new to the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that post notification bell so you can get notified when I drop another banger. Let's get to the video, man. No more talking, man. Smash that like button for your boy.
10 WWE wrestlers who refused to win at WrestleMania. Number 10, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. Now, heading into AJ Styles' WrestleMania debut, fans were convinced that AJ would secure a huge win over Chris Jericho. AJ was the firm favorite for the matchup, as this was his first ever WrestleMania matchup, and it wasn't as if Jericho needed the win, as his popularity and star power couldn't be touched during this time. Shockingly, WWE decided to have Jericho win the match, and it was later reported that AJ wanted to lose the match. Was this because AJ wanted to show that he was a team player? Well, potentially. It may have also been that AJ was of the belief that he shouldn't just walk into a prominent spot on the WrestleMania card and just win, and it was his duty to do the honors. Number 9, Mark Henry versus The Undertaker. One of the names that was pitched to end the iconic streak of The Undertaker was Mark Henry. Henry wrestled The Undertaker at WrestleMania 22 in a casket match, and when this news first surfaced, fans were stunned, as there was no way on paper that Henry was going to defeat the legendary Undertaker in the...
And by the way, I'm still never wrestling Mark Henry in a match. He just looked like, just look at Mark Henry. It just looked like he would take it too serious. Like, I'm not saying it like that. Like, of course you're supposed to take your craft serious, but I'm just saying, like, he would just go overboard. Like, he'd just hit you for real. Like, he'd just spaz out at any moment. Like, I don't trust him. I'm sorry. Mark Henry seems like he will hurt you for real in the ring. Now, of course, he ain't gonna do that to the Undertaker because he the OG. But I'm just saying in general, like, I'll be scared to wrestle with Mark Henry. If they tell me to wrestle Mark Henry, I would quit WWE right then and there. I'm dropping my flag. I ain't got nothing to do with WWE no more. I'm done. It's over with. No more WWE for me. I'm quitting right on the spot. I'm not wrestling Mark Henry. Y'all gonna have to we gonna have to cancel the match.
Well-owned match. And according to Mark Henry, during an interview with Heavy, the creative call of Henry defeating The Undertaker was very close to happening, but ultimately he would turn it down. It was close, and there was some conversation about me being the one to break the streak. And if they would have asked me, I would have been like, hell no, I don't want to carry that weight. And Henry, just like several other names who have turned the offer down, realized the magnitude of the win, conquering the streak.
I'm sorry, I tried to hold it in. I'm not finna tell y'all why I'm laughing. The joke writes itself. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't catch it, then I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Time would have arguably been bigger than any world title win, and it's not something that talent were comfortable openly accepting, which is complete.
I ain't gonna lie. If Mark Henry would have broke the streak, WWE fans would have crashed out. Like Mark Henry out of all people. I think Roman Reigns should have broke the streak. Me personally, Brock Lesnar didn't even need that shit for real. He was already a big name in the world of sports in general. So Roman Reigns definitely the one who needed it.
Than any world title win, and it's not something that talent were comfortable openly accepting, which is completely understandable. Number 8, Kane versus The Undertaker. Kane was a name that The Undertaker loved working with. This affection ran so deep that The Undertaker reportedly wanted Kane to break the streak on more than one occasion. It is believed that WrestleMania 20 was one of the events discussed for this to take place, and it was even rumored that The Undertaker wanted Kane to break it at a subsequent WrestleMania event. Kane was well established for being one of the most selfless pro wrestlers of all time, so it was hardly a surprise that the man said no thanks. Kane had such an elite reputation in this regard, and when The Undertaker put over his kayfabe half-brother on a number of pay-per-view events in 2010, this was likely The Undertaker's way of giving Kane a lap of honor. Number 7, The Rock vs JBL. Now in 2005, as WWE were putting together their creative plans for WrestleMania 21, one of the ideas WWE were sold on was JBL defending the WWE title versus The Rock. The Rock was basically retired at this point in time, but WWE believed that this would reignite the product and make fans interested in what WWE were offering. The initial creative plans legitimately called for The Rock to win. However, with The Rock having extensive commitments in Hollywood, it's unknown how this would have worked. Of course, the Great One turned the match and the huge win down, and instead WWE would commit to making John Cena the new face of the company,
Yeah.
which is 100% the correct call. Number 6, The Undertaker vs. Roman Reigns. WrestleMania 33 was designed to be The Undertaker's final ever WWE match. He was going to wrestle Roman Reigns in the main event of the show, and he insisted on putting Reigns over in the biggest way imaginable. Winning the main event match was simply out of the question for the dead man, and he wanted to go out by putting over the new face of WWE. Whilst this mentality was appreciated, the match itself did neither man any favours, as it was a complete letdown. The dead man wasn't just in the right place physically or mentally to deliver a high quality match, and this led him to having several more matches down the road. The Undertaker has spoken at length regarding how bad he felt for messing up Reigns' big moment. Whilst The Undertaker may feel extremely bad, in the long run it failed to hinder either man's legacy or status in WWE.
Bro, Undertaker, boy, like he did not want to retire. Like he wanted to leave out on a high note. And I understand that shit because like when he just a competitor. Like he just every time he think he wrestled his last match, he probably looked back on it like, man, I wasn't up to par. Like my performance wasn't up to par. So I want to get in the ring again and try to do it again so I can leave off on a high note. But it get to a point, man. You just gotta let it go. You gotta throw your hands up and just say, I'm done. He's still talking about getting back into the ring, still to this day. Y'all think WrestleMania? I said WrestleMania. Y'all think Undertaker going to have another match in the future? I don't know, bro. Old now, like I don't know, man. But he just want to get back. You can just tell he want to come back in the ring so bad, man. My GOAT, he don't got it no more, man. Unfortunately.
5. John Cena vs. Bray Wyatt. It's a common consensus that Bray Wyatt should have defeated John Cena at WrestleMania 30. Cena had no reason to win this match, and Wyatt winning such a huge match on the grand stage could have been an incredible moment for him. 6 years later at WrestleMania 36, the two would have a rematch, and it was almost as if Cena went out of his way to make Wyatt look good as humanly possible. The two collided in a wild yet fun Firefly Funhouse match, and the match acted as a study of Cena's character and persona. The initial plans for the match were for the two to collide in a regular 1v1 matchup, and if this was indeed planned, then Cena would have done the favour and wouldn't have hesitated in putting Wyatt over. It was reported 3 years prior that Cena insisted on putting Wyatt over on SmackDown during Wyatt's reign as WWE Champion, and Cena evidently wanted to right the wrongs of WrestleMania 30. Number 4, Edge vs. The Undertaker. Now, the main event of WrestleMania 24 was set to be Edge defending the world title against The Undertaker, and internal conversations within the company were stating that Edge was going to win the match. It's unknown why exactly WWE believed it was a time to end the streak, but it was possible that they may have been under the impression that the streak had just run its course. But Edge would ultimately turn down the offer, and Edge reflected on his executive call during an appearance on the Impulsive podcast. Yeah, so we were going to meet in the main event of WrestleMania 24, and I think the streak at that point was 15-0. It was kind of thrown by me like, what do you think? I was like, absolutely not. Why would we do that? That makes zero sense to me. I'm already a made man. I'm in the main event of WrestleMania. What's it going to do for me? Sure, it would do something, I guess, but let's save that. Let's save that for somebody who can really use that boost. The WWE Hall of Famer had a great point. What benefit would it have had to his standing in the company? Edge was already a top guy, and there was no need for him to receive such a monumental win. Number 3, Batista vs. Daniel Bryan. Well, upon returning to WWE in 2014, Batista was promised the world. He was promised a main event match versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30, and he was promised a world title reign. Naturally, due to the rise of Daniel Bryan, some of WWE's promises would be broken. Batista would end up tapping out to Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania. According to Batista himself, during an appearance on MLW Radio's Writers' Room, it was his call to put Bryan over in the main event, and the Animal took issue with WWE's call to follow up the win with a poorly executed angle on Raw the next night. Here's what I hated about the whole Daniel Bryan thing. We did the thing at Mania, which was great, man. I wanted to put him over. I agreed to tap out to him. It was no big deal. I never made a big deal out of it. The thing I made a big deal out of was what we did that deal that night. The next night, after he got on off a stretcher, gone through hell the whole night, and it wasn't his call, but they wanted him to come back not selling anything. Like not selling that he was sore or beat up or injured. Nothing. Batista was rumored to face Bryan in the main event of the 2014 Payback pay-per-view, but
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I respect people like that that's willing to put people over, like, because some people they can be arrogant and be like, no, I don't want to put nobody over. I want to win a match and I want to get all the shine. But the fact that you are willing to put somebody over and have them have the spotlight it just shows how much respect you got for the company and how much respect that you got for the other wrestlers and shit like that, because you don't want to make it all about yourself. You want to be able to share the spotlight with everybody else. So I respect that, you being a team player.
That Batista was on board with continuing the rivalry between his Evolution stable and the Shield. Knowing how well received this angle was, this was definitely the right call. Number 2, Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. The Kofi Mania storyline in 2019 gripped the wrestling world, and one of the names responsible for the storyline being such an overwhelming success was Daniel Bryan. Bryan used his political power within the company to push for Kingston to get the spot at WrestleMania 35, and Bryan would insist on putting over Kingston. Kingston would reveal this during an appearance on the After the Bell podcast, and Kingston gave Bryan credit for understanding with what the fans wanted. He pushed for that to happen because the plans weren't for me to be at WrestleMania. I'm not sure who it was for Daniel to face, but it wasn't me, and Daniel went in and went to bat for me and the situation for the title match between us to happen. So we had a big part in it too. He was saying a testament to his state of mind as far as advancing the business and doing the right thing for the people and for the best match and product for the people to take in. So kudos to Daniel Bryan. Now, this was a trend that ran through Bryan's entire WWE run. He always seemed to know what the audience wanted, and he always knew when it was time to put someone over. And number 1, Randy Orton versus The Undertaker. One of the names that fans would have likely accepted to end the streak was the legend killer Randy Orton. In 2005, Orton was slowly emerging as a major player for WWE, and he needed a big win to solidify himself as a future legend for the company. As WWE rolled into Orton versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 21, there were endless rumors that they were going to have Orton win, but they ultimately had the dead man extend his win streak. It was later reported that Orton turned down the idea of winning that match, which highlighted the respect he had for the dead man. Even though WWE's resident Viper would turn this offer down, The Undertaker would put over Orton at subsequent pay-per-view events, including the 2005 SummerSlam. But there you have it, folks. 10 WWE wrestlers
so he returned the favor
to win at WrestleMania.
We about to get out of here, man. Shout out to Wrestlemania and shout out to Wrestlemania. You see what I did there? I mean, I said it wrong. I fucked up the whole joke. I was about to say shout out to Wrestlemania and shout out to Wrestlemania. Did I say that? I don't know. But we about to get out of here. Make sure y'all smash that like button for your boy. I'm finna go to sleep because it is currently 12 a.m. We about to get out of here. Make sure y'all hit that post notification bell so you can get notified when I drop another banger. Smash that like button because it helps me get into the algorithm. And I'm out of here, man.